Coming in at number 10, we have the Marble Mountain Bigfoot. This is one of the most famous Bigfoot videos of all time. It was taken when a team of Bigfoot hunters went in search for the mysterious beast, and they might have got what they were looking for. Let's have a look at this clip.
See the patch of snow in the middle there? There's 3 patches of snow up there. See the one right up, straight up above the patch of snow.
Right under that big wall.
I mean, shaky camera footage and Bigfoot go together like peanut butter and jelly. You know, there's even a rumor that Bigfoot has the ability to distort cameras, and that's why no one has been able to get a good shot of him. But looking at this footage, it's very hard to tell what we are looking at. That could be a guy walking around on his own enjoying the wilderness, but at the same time, he is so far out in the bush. It would be very strange for someone to be that deep into the woods without any supplies, because it's very clear in this video that they have no sort of backpack or survival bag, and no survivalist would leave their supplies just lying around while they're scoping out the area. Maybe this was a Sasquatch just hanging out on his own. Coming in at number 9, we have the Sasquatch Genome Project. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Sasquatch Genome Project, but it's a group of dudes who want nothing more than to find Bigfoot and study him. And honestly, they all look like cool dudes. They were on the news in Texas, and all of them have like mullets and ponytails. I bet beyond tips on how to find Sasquatch, they can also give you great tips on what products to use in your hair. But all jokes aside, these guys probably have the best footage of Bigfoot ever. Here's some of the clips that were able to work their way onto the local news. Use clip 2.
Seen short video clips of the legendary and very shy creature. The group spent 5 years and $500,000 coming to this conclusion. One clip is of...
I mean, those all look pretty convincing. We just need to find a way to get a clear shot of this guy. Also, it's great to know that there's a group of people out there that you can join right now that can help you in your efforts to find Bigfoot. When I was a little kid and people asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, a Bigfoot hunter was never an option. Coming in at number 8, we have Sasquatch in Virginia. Take me home, country roads is what this big old Sasquatch was thinking when he came out and was spotted by these 2 dudes. This next clip was from a news station in Virginia. The footage was taken by a father and son on a camping trip. Honestly, that is the most wholesome way you could ever run into Bigfoot. You and your dad are like, look, it's a Bigfoot. I can't believe we're seeing this together right now, but let's get out of here before this thing kills us.
All right. This was shot apparently near the Intracoastal Waterway earlier this month.
I don't see why these guys would lie about something like this, but they did say that the same thing happened to them 25 years ago. Which makes me think that either these guys are the 2 luckiest dudes in the world, or they're faking it. Seeing Bigfoot twice in one lifetime is like getting hit by lightning 23 times. Coming in at number 7, we have He's Still Around. If any of you had thought that Sasquatch had moved on to bigger and better things, or that if he was real he had probably gone extinct by now, well, I'll let you know that this picture was posted in January of 2020. This was posted on Twitter by the Washington State Department of Transportation. It was picked up by one of their roadside cameras, and if you look closely, you can see something right next to that tree that looks like a man walking in the snow. Now, the argument for this one has been that this is just a guy going for a hike. Now, it could be that, but I don't know a lot of people that would walk through the snow next to the highway. I mean, that's a good way to get lost and freeze to death. Coming in at number 6, we have Finding Bigfoot. This encounter got a ton of press. A guy in Michigan had a series of cameras set up on his massive property, and he picked up something very strange. The clip I'm going to show you is when the news covered it.
Back then, we couldn't show it. Now we can. A dark, hulking image amongst the trees that appeared in one frame. And
the popularity of this picture didn't stop there. It brought in people from the Animal Planet show Finding Bigfoot. They came down to investigate. They claimed that because of the location of the property, there could be a whole family of Bigfoot living out there. And when the Finding Bigfoot crew went through, they were unable to find hard evidence as to whether or not there was actually a Bigfoot on this man's property. But I feel like that's what Bigfoot is best at. He pops in for a few seconds, he makes you think that you're gonna find him, and then you come up empty-handed. Coming in at number 5, we have the Provo Canyon encounter. Okay, I will admit it, this one freaked me out a little bit. I don't know where I stand on Bigfoot. Like, maybe he's real. There's a time when people thought pandas were a myth, and the people who had said that they had seen one were laughed out of town. So we could have the same thing happening with Bigfoot. But whether you're a believer or not, this video might leave you with a few questions.
Yeah, we probably should be too close to it, huh? Cool.
Like, that did look pretty legit. We don't get a 100% clear shot, so maybe it was the real thing. The only thing I don't understand is why these guys are running towards it. Like, sure, you want to make the discovery of a lifetime, you want to change the world and reveal that you found the missing link, but at the same time, you don't want to end up beaten to a bloody pulp by a mythical beast. Coming in at number 4, we have the Paul Freeman footage. This is some of the most famous Bigfoot footage among Bigfoot truthers. Now I gotta let you guys know that this clip is pulled from 1994, so this video is not gonna be in 4K. The whole video is about 7 minutes long, and it's Paul Freeman scaling out some Bigfoot tracks, showing how long their strides are and how big the footprints are, and then he sees this walking through the bush. Use clip 8.
Oh, there he goes.
Now this is just a peek at what Freeman saw that day. He goes on to follow those Sasquatch for about 3 minutes, and later you can see that there are 2 smaller Sasquatches along with the larger one. It's thought that this is a mother with her 2 little ones. Now it is kind of convenient that he was mapping out Bigfoot tracks and then runs into a Bigfoot, but people in the Bigfoot community say that this video is legit. Coming at number 3, we have Bigfoot in Russia. Man, Bigfoot is getting around to more countries than me, and this dude doesn't even have a passport. This footage was taken by a few kids that were walking around the frozen wilderness in Russia. They came across something that looked like giant footprints. It looked like someone was walking through and they sloshed around in the snow to make all their tracks look bigger. The kids were very curious, so they followed them, and guess what they found? Well, you don't have to guess, I'm going to show you. Use clip 5.
And darts away.
After they see the beast, they turn tail and run, and as I said in a previous point, that is the smart thing to do. And when they got home, they showed their parents. The clip became so popular that National Geographic went to go investigate. Coming in at number 2, we have the Allegheny camera trap. When people talk about Bigfoot, I always think, why don't they just set up a camera trap so they can get pictures of the big lug and then that'll be that? Well, it turns out that someone has actually done this. It was a photographer by the name of Rick Jacobs. He went up to the Allegheny National Forest, which is quite a trek north of Pittsburgh, and he set up some cameras to get some amazing nature footage. Well, he got something natural as well as something mythical. That photo, along with several others, were sent to the Denver Post to publish as proof of Bigfoot. The bummer is that we don't get to see his face, but I do have to say that this creature, whatever it is, doesn't look like a bear or something I've seen walking around in the woods. Its hair is too short. It definitely looks more like a primate. And coming in for the number 1 spot, we have Surprise. I really could title any of these Surprise. I don't think anyone has ever seen a Bigfoot and was like, oh, that's a regular creature that I've seen so many times before. I'm not shocked at all. But this guy in this next clip was just out hunting. He owns a big property in Mississippi, and while he was out looking for boar, he ran into this. The deeper and deeper I get into this, the more I become a believer. Now, in the description of this video, the person who posted it calls whatever this is a skunk ape, which is basically a southern Bigfoot. And this might be it. This has to be the most convincing video I have ever seen.
Starting off this countdown, we have the infamous Bigfoot. This footage of Bigfoot is the one that started this whole Bigfoot craze. If you Google images of Bigfoot, this is surely the one to pop up. So back in 1967, 2 men were creating a short film in Northern California when they ended up capturing footage of Bigfoot. In the footage, we see him walk by a wooded area. Over the years, a number of people have attempted to debunk this footage, but none have been successful. Is it possible for it to be someone in a gorilla suit? Well, at the time this footage came out, the movie Beneath the Planet of the Apes also came out. If you look at the ape costumes used in that movie and compare it to the Bigfoot video, Bigfoot looks more realistic. People claim you can actually see the creature's muscles and such. How could someone make a costume way above its time? It's not possible. Meaning this could be evidence of a real Bigfoot. Coming in at number 9, we have Provo Canyon Bigfoot. In October of 2012, a group of siblings were hiking in Provo Canyon when they spotted something in the woods and began filming it. Earlier on their hike, they saw some deer and wanted to get a closer look at them, so they headed up in the direction of the deer. That's when they spotted this creature. At first they thought it was a bear, but were horrified when the creature stood up on its 2 legs. They got frightened and ran out of the area. To this day, they don't know exactly what it is that they saw. but they managed to capture it on tape.
Yeah, we probably should be too close to it, huh? Oh, cool though. Let's go.
Moving on at number 8, we have Allegheny National Forest. In 2007, hunter Rick Jacobs decided to mount a wildlife camera to a tree in Allegheny National Forest, Pennsylvania. The camera worked on a motion sensor and would take photos when triggered. He had hopes of capturing photos of bears, deers, and other wildlife. Little did he know that he was about to capture evidence of Bigfoot. So on September 16th, 2007, upon reviewing the photos on the camera, he discovered a creepy picture of what appears to be Bigfoot. However, skeptics believe that it's an image of a sick bear, but the way that it's hunched over with its back leg extended makes it look like Bigfoot. In our 7th spot, we have Marble Mountain Bigfoot. If you are a Bigfoot enthusiast, then this is another well-known sighting to you. In June of 2001, a group of teens and a leader, part of a youth group called Campus Life, were camping at Marble Mountain. The group ended up finding a weird den made out of twigs and large branches. Then shortly after, the leader, Jim Mills, noticed a weird-looking creature moving nearby. He filmed it for 7 minutes. To this day, this is the longest video footage of an alleged Bigfoot sighting. Experts have analyzed the footage and have agreed that it's not a human, and that the creature is 9 feet tall. When the Bigfoot noticed the group of people watching it, it began jumping up and down, screaming, and then it pushes a tree. It was just probably trying to scare off the onlookers. Making our way down the list at number 6, we have Lake James Bigfoot. Back in late 2019, a man named John Bruner and 3 other men went on a boat late at night scouting an area on Lake James. Apparently that night fishermen had seen something watching them from the shore, so these folks went out to investigate. That's when they started to hear weird noises coming from the cove. They turned off the boat's motor and used their night vision cameras to scope out the area. That's when they saw Bigfoot and got 121 pictures of it. The creature was estimated to be around 7.5 feet tall. At one point they claimed that the creature was just standing, swaying back and forth while watching them. After 5 minutes, the creature walked away. But again, like all photos of Bigfoot, these photos are terribly blurry. All 121 of them. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with webcam Bigfoot. Bigfoot just keeps blowing its cover. Now it seems like he doesn't care if he gets caught. Also, let me say that Washington State is notorious for Bigfoot sightings. There have been tons of sightings over the years, so Bigfoot must have a home somewhere around there. Anyways, this time Bigfoot was caught on the Department of Transportation's webcam. The webcam was located on Sherman Pass on State Route 20. It caught Bigfoot crossing a mountain pass. Then you see it lurking behind some trees by the road. Whatever it is, it looks massive and hairy, just like Bigfoot. In our 4th spot, we have the Russian Bigfoot. Bigfoot is said to mainly live in Canada and in areas of the US, but this video may prove that Russia is also home to Bigfoots. So this footage was shot back in 2016 and features Bigfoot chasing a car. In this video you can see a black blob appear in the distance, only to then start coming closer and closer to the car filming it. I mean, the creature moves pretty fast since it manages to catch up with the car, which keeps driving away from the creature and then stopping to get more footage of it. At one point in the video, the girls are yelling to close the window and can be heard saying, "He's coming, he's running." Apparently, the creature actually jumped onto the car and broke the glass, but obviously they were not recording when that happened. So yeah. Apparently Bigfoot in Russia are super aggressive. Also, is the plural of Bigfoot big feet or Bigfoots? I don't know. Big feet. In our 3rd spot, we have the curious children. In January of 2013, 3 Russian children were out playing in the snow when they stumbled upon Bigfoot. This case was actually featured on an episode of National Geographic. So the kids were out following a pair of footprints to the edge of a frozen lake. Along the way, they are laughing and joking around. That's when they see a tall, dark, hairy figure in the distance. When the creature spots them, it turns and runs away super fast. The kids get scared and run away as well. They described to National Geographic that the creature was tall and covered in hair, except it had no hair on its face. The children and their parents all believe that they spotted a real-life Bigfoot. Coming in at number 2, we have the game camera, another Bigfoot sighting in Washington state. In attempts to catch a supposed Bigfoot that had been lurking around the area, they set up a game camera hidden in a fake rock. They did this as a way to trick Bigfoot. The camera and rock were set up in a man's yard, who claimed he saw Bigfoot lurking there 9 months earlier. Well, they did capture something alright. If you look at the photo, it just kinda looks like a blurry mess, not gonna lie. But they believe that it shows an eye with wrinkles above it, part of a nose bridge, part of another eye, and a forehead. In fact, this image matches the eyewitness drawing of the creature. The photo from the game camera was placed on top of the drawing, and it lined up almost perfectly. Pretty creepy if you ask me. And in our number 1 spot, we have 911 Bigfoot. This next sighting is so creepy. A man calls 911 saying that a tall, dark figure is in his yard. In fact, the full actual call is online, available to be listened to. So the call occurred in Washington state, aka Bigfoot Central, back in 1996. The man on the phone tells the operator that someone or something is crawling in his yard. He says that his sensor light came on and he saw something run across the yard. When the operator asks him to describe it, he says that it's a good-sized man or something that looks like a man. Then he says that the creature is about 6'8" and is really big. He also tells her that the night before his dog was killed in his yard. Then out of nowhere he starts panicking, telling the operator to send someone immediately. A week later, the sheriff's office got a picture of what seems to be Bigfoot lurking in his neighbor's yard.
911, what are you reporting? With someone or something crawling around out here. Do you see what person or an animal or? I can't tell. All I know is my sensor light came on and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard.
In our number 10 spot, we have Nessie is real. Okay guys, the Loch Ness Monster is real. At least that's what I think after watching this recent video shot from the air looking down upon the water. There is literally a long neck looking dinosaur in the water, and it has to be Nessie himself. Herself? Is Nessie a girl? This is definitely some footage that has been buried deep by the governments of the world, including the FBI. And why, you may ask? Damn, I don't know. Perhaps the discovery of this ancient creature could mean that there's more magical creatures out there. It could mean that there is a portal to a new world in the lake. Or perhaps it means that the wizarding world of Harry Potter is real. Anyways, this video I think is substantial proof that the cryptid that is known as the Loch Ness Monster is in fact real. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that like button, as it really helps us out. In our number 9 spot, we have the deep sea cryptid. Okay, this footage blew my mind when I saw it. I personally think this is proof of yet another mythical ocean creature slash cryptid that we are unaware of yet. The ocean is so big and mysterious, I bet you even mermaids exist. In August of 2018, the Japan Agency of Marine Earth Science and Technology, when they found something in the waters of Sagami Bay near Tokyo. A big creature with big glowing eyes and a gaping mouth. Now at first it appears to move, but as the camera gets closer, it appears to freeze in place. And so, since we don't see it move much, some people say that it's an illusion of a creature and that it's really just a rock that looks like it has eyes, as humans have a tendency to see faces in inanimate objects. But what if it's a creature that became aware of the fact that it was being watched, and so it froze to look like a rock? This creature legit looks like it stepped right out of Monsters Inc. I don't know. Anyways, this footage could be nothing, or it could be everything, and that's why it's possible that it's being marketed as possibly nothing. In our number 8 spot, we have the hide behind. I had no idea what this was before I researched this video, but apparently there is an ancient creature known as a hide behind. And these creatures used to hide in forests and were nocturnal, and they would prey upon humans that wander the woods, such as lumberjacks. They are said to be able to conceal themselves. The creature quickly hides behind an object so it's not directly seen. This is how it's able to attack human prey, by stalking them from afar and not be seen. Anyways, now that you know what a hide behind is, this video that was captured by a grandmother certainly shows a creature that looks just like a hide behind. A shadow, if you will. If this video was not staged, and it is real, like they claim, then I definitely think this is proof of some kind of hide behind or mythical creature. Perhaps it's Bigfoot, but certainly this shadowy figure doesn't seem completely normal. In our number 7 spot, we have the Kraken. The giant squid known around the world as the Kraken is an enormous squid-like sea monster originally from Scandinavian folklore. People believe tales of the creature were created after fishermen spotted giant squid out on the water. Anyways, recently something very mysterious was discovered when zooming into the middle of the sea on Google Earth. A strange, large creature that appears to light up and looks to be very large and is creating a wake. Google Earth's measuring tool has shown that the wake is over 250 meters wide. This picture has surely had the FBI concerned, as the internet has been going crazy trying to figure out if that's a kraken, an ancient dinosaur-like fish, or an alien craft that perhaps crashed into the water or is in the water. Without a doubt though, there's something mysterious going on there. Where is the light coming from, my friends? My vote is for alien craft. That makes more sense in terms of where the light is coming from. In our number 6 spot, we have the alien sea creature. This may be our biggest piece of proof that aliens might live underneath us or in the water. This video captured from a Brazilian beach was buried deep online, probably by the FBI because of its mysteriousness. It showcases a very strange looking creature in the water that looks just like every picture of an alien that I've ever seen. Ever think about where we originally got our idea for how aliens look? Yeah, well, probably from meeting them, or possibly from seeing creatures like this. This creature looks like it has arms and legs and is just walking around the shore and isn't seemingly looking threatening, just going about and doing its thing. It was described as a jellyfish-like monster. If that isn't an alien, then please explain to us what that is. Conclusion? It's an alien sea creature. In our number 5 spot, we have the baby dragon. A video was shot showing a creature in a pond that literally looks exactly like the ancient Chinese dragon that we see in folklore. Or they look like Khaleesi's dragons when they were babies. Game of Thrones, anyone? Anyways, this video is wild. Very, very strange. This creature is exactly like every image of a dragon that I'm sure you've ever seen, and it is just swimming around in the water. Dragons are so embedded into many cultures, and over many civilizations, people believed in dragons, and so it just makes you think perhaps they were once real, or perhaps they are real. It's possible though that the old civilizations just stumbled across dinosaur bones that made them think fire-breathing dragons were real too. That's very possible. But in any case, this specific video hasn't been proven to be real, so it's possible that it's fake. But if it were to be real, I'm sure a narrative would be spun around it, because that would be a massive discovery that humans may not be ready for. In our number 4 spot, we have Bigfoot. Look, there are so many stories and supposed sightings of the Mudman, Bigfoot, and honestly, this one is the most interesting one yet. A trail cam was deep in the woods when it captured a giant creature walking through the wood. It might be behind a row of trees, but it is clear as day that this creature is big, whatever it is. It appears to have hands and feet. It doesn't move like a bear, it moves like an oversized human. So this could very well be the best footage of Bigfoot that I've ever seen. Apparently the people that took this footage tend to upload footage of animals and bears and have no drive to tamper with the footage, so a lot of people believe it to be real. Also, apparently after this they set up more trail cams in the hopes of seeing it again, but all of the additional cams went missing. Whoa, that's a smart Bigfoot right there, making sure to watch the humans and get rid of all the evidence. Anyways, I think this was definitely footage the FBI would be worried about, so they themselves could have destroyed the trail cams. In our number 3 spot, we have the Blue Mountains Panther. The Blue Mountains Panther is a creature from Australian folklore that is essentially a giant panther that lives in the mountains of Australia. This panther has had sightings for centuries, however Australia isn't known to have any kind of panther on the continent. Anyways, a picture of what looks like a giant cat-like creature, most likely a panther, was caught on camera and it's had Australia in a tizzy. It's the Blue Mountain Panther, everyone thinks. It's clear as day that it's a cat-like creature and it looks like a panther. If it is not this mythical creature, then what is it? Would love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. In our number 2 spot, we have Sasquatch. This next footage is really interesting and something I know has been buried because of the sheer amount of people that can confirm its validity. While on a ski slope, a bunch of skiers had to stop as they appeared to see a giant in the woods. Everything you have ever heard about Sasquatch would describe what these people saw. Hairy, ape-like, living in the woods. The footage captured shows it trying to hide, but without a doubt it was seen by many, and that would certainly put a dent in the theory that Sasquatch is a mythological creature. Some people think that our human ancestors or relatives could have survived into the modern era, and so this creature could just be a human ancestor. If this is true, then 1, there must be 2 of them to have continued on the species like this, or 2, if there's only 1, is this an immortal human ancestor from centuries ago? The latter would certainly be cooler. We discovered how to fly in the sky. Perhaps we humans have discovered everlasting life and the general public just doesn't know about it yet. Side thought. In our number 1 spot, an elf. On a First Nation reserve in Saskatchewan, a strange creature was caught on camera that quite possibly the FBI doesn't want you to see. In the video, you see a creature go behind a large rock when the person recording the video turns their light on. It's kinda hard to make out exactly what it is. Some people think that it's an elf, or a fairy, or a wendigo. A type of shape-shifting creature that is evil. Honestly, I don't know what it is, but it appears to be some kind of mythical creature. People have been reporting seeing this monster for thousands of years, and so it makes you think that there might be something to this video, and it could very well showcase something no human has officially been able to confirm before on camera. I hope it's an elf. That sounds way better than an evil shapeshifter. If elves exist, they should just come and live among us. I bet you us humans would accept them. How could we not? They're so cute and cool.
Number 10, ahul. Let's kick this list off with a certifiably pretty scary looking one. It is known as the ahul and is native to the rainforests on the Indonesian island of Java. It is usually described as a giant bat with a wingspan of around 20 feet, or sometimes as a massive flying primate. It has large claws and black eyes and is named for the sound that it supposedly makes. The first reported sighting was in 1925 by a naturalist exploring a waterfall who said that the creature flew right over top of him. He then saw it again 2 years later in 1927. He was staying in a hut listening to the sounds of the forest when he saw the creature again and heard it make its distinct sound, saying it was like nothing else within the jungle. It is said to eat large fish but will also apparently attack humans. It is apparently incredibly defensive and territorial, so it will attack any large animals that trespass across its land. Number 9, Flatwoods Monster. 70 years ago in 1952, the town of Flatwoods, West Virginia was terrorized by the Flatwoods Monster. There were a total of 8 eyewitnesses to the creature, 6 teenage boys, a dog, and their mother. One of the boys reportedly peed their pants at the sight of it, and the dog turned around and ran away. The report made local and national news, and the US Air Force even sent a team to investigate if the monster was an extraterrestrial. Here's how the event is described. The boys were apparently playing in a schoolyard when they saw a red light fly across the sky and then crash into a farm. They got their mother, along with a few other boys and their dog, and made their way to where they had seen it crash. They then apparently saw bright eyes in a tree, apparently being a 10-foot tall Frankenstein-like monster. They said it had a red body and glowing green face, and it may have had claws for hands, but they couldn't tell due to the dense mist in the forest. The famous sketch of the creature is absolutely terrifying to look at, and to this day hundreds of monster-seeking tourists visit Flatwoods every week. Number 8. Wahila. The Wahila is a giant wolf-like creature that is reported to live in Alaska and the Northwest Territories, sometimes considered to be the same animal as the saber wolf. So how is it different from a regular wolf? It is apparently much larger, with a wide head and massive feet, being around 4 feet tall to the shoulder. They have apparently never been spotted in packs and prefer to live alone. People in the area say that the Wahila are spirits with supernatural powers, apparently killing people by removing their heads. Because of this, it is native to what is known as the Headless Valley. There are a few different theories about what the reported wolf on could actually be, if not a supernatural being. Some people think that it is just a massive wolf on while others think that it may be a dire wolf that managed to somehow survive past the Ice Age. Number 7. Hide Behind. The Hide Behind is a creature from American folklore, and I bet you can probably guess what it's known for. That's right, it's shockingly good looks. I'm kidding, of course, though this actually could be true considering no one really knows exactly what one looks like. That's because it is actually known for its ability to hide behind things. You will be able to see it out of the corner of your eye, but if you ever try to look at it directly, it's nowhere to be found, hiding somewhere just out of view. It is said to attack people who wander the woods at night and was credited for the disappearances of many early American loggers. It will use its ability to hide to stalk behind humans unnoticed and then attack, dragging them back to its lair to eat them. Creatures that can only be seen just in the corner of your eye can be found all over the world and in many different forms of media. So next time you think you spotted a shadow moving just off to the side, be careful, because the hide behind might just be creeping up to get you. Number 6. Wampus. You may be familiar with this one for its status as a house mascot for the American Wizarding School of Ilvermorny from the Harry Potter universe, but it actually is a cryptid that has supposedly been spotted across the United States. It is also known as the Wampus Beast or Cherokee Death Cat and is described as a large panther-like creature. It is described a bit differently based on where you live in the country. In West Texas, it's said to be nocturnal and have a loud voice. In Washington, it's said to have piercing yellow eyes that can drive you insane. In Cherokee mythology, the Wampus started out as a woman who did not trust her husband. When he went out to hunt with a fellow warrior, she put on a mountain lion skin in order to spy on him. When she was found out, the medicine man cursed her to wear the skin forever, turning her into the Wampus cat. It's usually cited and blamed for killing livestock, so you may not have to worry too much about this one unless you're a chicken or a sheep, but I would still be wary. Number 5. Hodag. Alright, the back half of this list consists mainly of creatures that I picked just because they had funny sounding names. So these ones may not be the most terrifying things ever, but you may experience a small amount of humor and let out a short, forceful exhale from your nose when you hear the name. First, we are heading to northern Wisconsin to meet the hodag. In 1893, a man named Gene Shepard said that he encountered the creature in the woods. It was described as having spikes down its entire length of its body, with a fistful of needle-sharp pointed spears at the end of its tail, fangs that would rival a saber-toothed tiger, and the ability to rip out the belly of the biggest bear. He brought a group of lumbermen back into the woods to capture the creature using dynamite, bringing back what was allegedly its charred remains. Later on, he would claim that he had captured a living hodag, though this performance was proven to have been a hoax. Number 4. Whirling wimpus. Next up, we have a creature said to reside within North American woods. It's described as being a similar creature to Sasquatch and Bigfoot, but it's not because it's a wimpus and it is different. It is apparently a 7-foot-tall gorilla-like creature that will fool any animal or person. It will apparently hide at a bend in a trail. Then, as you get close, it will start spinning on one foot, making a sound that seems to come from the trees above. above. So you will look up to try and find the creature, and then it will kill you, making you into either molasses or maple syrup. I guess it just depends on what they're craving at the time. The wimpus is sometimes described as having horse-like hooved legs and not having much fur. Its favorite foods are apparently people, turkey, deer, cows, and even bears, and the wimpus was held responsible for the disappearances of many lumberjacks. Its whirling act apparently spins at over 2,000 RPM, and apparently it hunts most often at sunset. Number 3. Guaggle. Now we have the guaggle, the official monster of Clinton County in Pennsylvania. It apparently hangs out on the hiking trails in the area, and sightings go back all the way to the 1800s. It was apparently a werewolf-like creature that could be summoned by a witch. It is 6 feet tall, shaped like a wolf, standing on its back legs. Instead of hands, it has bird claws, and its back feet are horse hooves, apparently to fool anyone who might try to track it. Witches would apparently summon them to harass nearby farmers who had offended them, the guaggle trampling crops, damaging tools, and other acts of vandalism. On the roads around the town's border, there have been multiple reports of people seeing bipedal wolves running along the side of the road. In stories, there is a man named Loop Hill Ike who would apparently help the farmers and set fire to the witches' homes. A little harsh, I think. Number 2. Snallygaster. The Snallygaster should not be confused with the Snallygaster, a totally different creature. The Snallygaster is described as a dragon-like beast that apparently hangs around Washington and Frederick County in Maryland. When German immigrants settled in the area in the 1730s, there started being reports of a half-reptile, half-bird creature terrorizing the town. It was described as being like a siren with demonic features, having a metallic beak with razor-sharp teeth. It would apparently swoop down from the sky and pick up its victims, draining them of their blood. 7-pointed stars would apparently keep it at bay, and many local barns still have the symbol painted on them. In the 1900s, reports of the creature started up again, apparently screeching like a locomotive whistle, having claws like steel hooks, and an eye in the center of its forehead. When the Smithsonian offered a reward in exchange for its hide, President Theodore Roosevelt even allegedly postponed an African safari in order to try and hunt the creature. Number 1. Squonk. Alright, this final one is definitely not that terrifying, but I absolutely love him and I have to talk about him, and if you don't love him too, then you are just incorrect. Here's your friendly reminder that the complaints department is down below, and I definitely will take your concerns to heart. The squonk is a creature that lives in the woods of Pennsylvania, first being described in the late 19th century. It is described as having wrinkly skin that doesn't fit, hanging off its body and being covered in warts. Because of this, it is incredibly ashamed of its appearance and spends most of its time crying. Do you understand why I like this guy now? He's relatable. Hunters who have tried to catch a squonk discovered that the creature is capable of just dissolving into a pool of tears and bubbles when confronted. I also hate confrontation so much that I wish I could just dissolve into a pool of tears.